Welcome, Husker fans. Thank you for tuning in to Big Red Radio, the Husker Talk Show. I am your host, Caleb Jenneret. Next to me, as always, is my co-host, Zach Jenneret. Today, we're going to be previewing the Penn State game. We didn't have an episode last week. Took a week off accidentally with the bye week. We tried to record an episode. Sound didn't really work out for us, so we recorded a TikTok. So make sure you go follow us on all the socials listed down below for all the extra content so you don't miss out. Subscribe, hit the like button. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Comment down below your score prediction for the Penn State Nebraska game. But, Zach, how you doing?
Doing well. I think after the bye week, I feel, I would say better about the Penn State game. I think it's a very winnable game. I think it's, I don't think Penn State's as good of a team as USC or Michigan, and I think those were both winnable games. And I think they do play a similar style, and so I think that's a good thing because it's essentially a worse version of that team, right? Still a good team, but not as good as them. So I feel pretty good about it. I understand it's away, but I just don't think the crowd at Penn State is going to be nearly what it looked like it was going to be going into this game at the start of the year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I don't think it's going to be, what we all thought it was going to be coming into the year, as you just said. But I do think it's going to be Nebraska's toughest road test because if you think about it, Nebraska on the road this year in Kansas City against Cincinnati, that was a Nebraska crowd. Against Maryland, that was a heavy Nebraska crowd. Against UCLA, that was a heavy Nebraska crowd. Like, Nebraska travels well, and I think they're going to travel well against Penn State as well, but they're not going to take over the stadium like they have in these other spots. So I do think there's going to be a lot of, Penn State fans there, and I think it's going to be a tough road test for TJ Lateef. I don't think the fans are going to be overly, hype for this matchup, especially seeing now that James Franklin has signed, or not signed, but has accepted a job at Virginia Tech. Maybe that takes a little air out of it. Maybe some guys for Penn State, we haven't seen anything yet, and this far into the week, probably doubt that anything's going to happen, but who knows, what players want to jump ship, go to Virginia Tech, save their season now. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited to see it because, there's a lot of things like we saw TJ Lateef against UCLA. This is a much bigger test against Penn State. As bad as they've looked at times, they are still the most I think they're probably the most talented defense Nebraska has played all year. Maybe not the best put together, maybe not the best playing, but they have the most NFL type guys on defense. Maybe you put them against Michigan, I think Penn State has more guys. You put them against USC, I think Penn State has more guys. There's a reason this team was ranked number 2 in the country coming into this year. It wasn't just everything was wrong that people predicted. This team is still very talented. They just didn't put it all together. But before we get into X Factors, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, so getting into our X Factors, we're going to give 3, and then we're going to get into our predictions. So my first one is going over to the defensive side of the ball first. You have to win on early downs. Against Big Ten teams, this is Penn State's offense. Their quarterback, what's his name? Ethan Gronkmeyer, 146 yards per game, 3 to 4 touchdown to interception ratio. Not good at all. Look at Preston Stone's stats, the quarterback for Northwestern, and we saw what he was. Not good. He wasn't a good quarterback. He's averaging 148 yards per game against Big Ten teams, 5 to 5 touchdown to interception. You cannot let this guy beat you. You have to force them to pass the ball on long third downs, which is why you have to stop the run on early downs because they do have one, I think, really good running back. Going into the year, we thought they had, a two-headed monster. That really hasn't been the case. It's really been Kaytron Allen leading the way. Kaytron Allen, as I said, 5 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns, about 92 yards per game. Nick Singleton, who we thought was going to be really good coming into this year, only 34 yards per game, less than 4 yards per carry, and only 4 touchdowns on the year. He's still talented. You can't look past him. He's still going to make some plays, but Kaytron Allen is the main guy. You have to stop them on early downs and make this guy beat you. We heard Matt Rule say in the press conference they ran the ball last week 50 times, only passed the ball 14, that's exactly what they want to do. That's their ideal game plan. And Grunkmeyer, like TJ Lateef, looked good when you could run the ball. Like TJ Lateef did against UCLA, looked good when you can run the ball, play off that play action, and have guys just running open downfield. I don't think they're going to be that open. Michigan State's defense is a lot worse than Nebraska's, but just to make sure, you need to stop the run on early downs, force him to beat you, and I think you'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm going to center more in on my first one on just stop the run. Like you said, the quarterback is not. He's definitely in the lower half of the quarterbacks we've played this year. Might even be in the lower third of the quarterbacks we've played this year so far. But these running backs, I understand Nick Singleton hasn't put up the stats that everyone thought he was going to put up this year, but that doesn't take away, like you said, from the fact that he is a very talented running back, and certainly doesn't take away from the fact that our rush defense is, struggling pretty bad right now. And so if you're not able to stop the run, then honestly, I just don't see a route that you win this game, because the way Penn State wants to win games is a lot like the way Northwestern started coming back. They want it to be dirty. They want it, they want to break off big ones and then just grind out the rest. Like, they don't need it to look super clean. And so if you allow them to make the game super dirty and just continue to run the ball for, 3 to 4 yards of play and grind out the clock, then that's how you end up losing this game. But yeah, I think if you're able to stop the run on first and second down and force them into these, 3rd and 6 plus, I think it's going to be a tough day for them, because obviously we do have a very good pass defense. I don't think their passing game is nearly good enough. I think overall Nebraska has defended enough mobile quarterbacks to realize how to stop them at this point. At least I would hope that they have. I think that's not that that's a major part of this quarterback's game, or that he's one of the best in the country to do it. But I do think that it's something he can do. And I think it's one of the ways he will attack you. He's not a kind of sit in the pocket and pass kind of guy, but I think if you're able to stop the run on first and second down, like you said, force him into these long downs and his long third downs, I think it's a great recipe for, huge success for Nebraska.
Yeah. So my second X factor is you have to lean on the run game no matter what. I think, Penn State is 70th in rushing defense. They allow 4 yards per carry, 148 yards per game, only a little bit better than Nebraska. Even if it doesn't pop early, because as we said in the beginning, Penn State has talented defenders, especially on the defensive line. You got to stick with it. You got to wear them thin. And at this point, you just really have to lean on Emmett Johnson, who's been your best player for the last few games, especially without Dylan Raiola. You have to lean on him, because that'll open up passing game deep. And I think he's gonna pop a few if you just keep on trying. Northwestern against Penn State kept on trying, and eventually they came back and won that game. So go let it up. Go let up some big gains, and you have to build off of it into the passing game as well.
Okay. I think my second one's just going to be that you have to play quick here. I think it's a way that, the line plays much better. I think Lateef plays better. I think all around the offense just plays better when you play this quick game. Kind of a one read, if it's not there, take off, or like a one read kind of offense, maybe two read kind of offense. But these long developing plays, one, we just don't have a talented enough pass protection for that. And then two, I don't think Lateef is quite ready to run an offense like that. But with his speed, his athleticism, you have Emmett Johnson in the backfield. You have receivers that can get open quick, right? Corey Barney, Isaiah Hunter, even Dane Key, Lyndon Meyer, as well as a tight end that can get open as well. If you're able to take that quick offense, take the pressure off the line, it'll open up these runs, it'll open up much bigger plays down the road.
Yeah. My final one is it'll be a quick one. You have to play clean, not conservative, just clean. I think this is going to be a very close game, similar to the Northwestern game. And that's not saying that Northwestern is just as talented as Penn State. I just think the games are going to fold out similarly. And in these close games, the team that makes the most mistakes will lose. So, just play clean. Just continue to play clean. You played very clean against UCLA. It'll be a tougher task against Penn State, but now you have an extra week to prepare. So I think TJ Lateef will be ready for it. But you can't make these big mistakes because these big mistakes are going to be capitalized and are going to show really big in these really close games, which is, spoiler alert, we'll get more into it, but what I think this game is going to turn into.
Yeah, I think third and final one is special teams. I think it's got to be on point. Big games in the Big Ten late in the year always come down to, field goals, field position. This is going to be one of those, kind of grinded out games. It's not going to be a high scoring shootout by any means. It's going to be a game where, like you said, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is the team that's going to probably come out on top. In games like that, there's not a whole lot of room for error in there. And so you gotta make the plays when it's necessary and put yourself in really good spots as well.
Yeah, so getting to our predictions, currently the Vegas line as of Tuesday night, Penn State's favored by 9.5 with an over-under of 43.5, meaning Vegas is predicting around a 27-17 Penn State win. As I said, I think this is going to be a very similar game to Northwestern, but it's, as I said, also not because Penn State is less talented or as talented as Northwestern. I think Penn State is very much more talented. I just think also Nebraska should have beat Northwestern by more. But I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. Like I said, who's going to make more mistakes? Who's going to make the plays when they need them? Who's going to flip the field with special teams? As Zach said, I just think it comes down to those type of plays. And I know it's a very low sample size, but I really think I'm trusting Lateef more than Grunkmeyer at this point, and I think Nebraska wins a really close one late, 21-17 Nebraska.
Yeah, I think pretty similar as far as how big we win. I think it is a very close game. I do think Penn State's still a really good team. As far as like their roster goes, like you'd be insane to think they don't have top 20 like talent on their roster in the country, right? So this is not a bad team. This is not a UCLA. It's not a Northwestern. It's not a Michigan State. It's not a team where you can go in, you can make mistakes and still walk all over. You have to come out and you have to play clean. It's going to set us up really well to see what we need to do against Iowa because it's going to play really similar to a game like that. Well, you have a really talented team that you can beat, but you have to play really well to do it. I do think that Nebraska does kind of control the lead for a lot of it. I think they are the better team overall. I think Nebraska comes out on top of this one, 24-21.
Yeah, so very close games. It is what we're both predicting. Obviously, we would love for Nebraska to come out and just dominate. Both of not really expecting it, but obviously it would be a welcome sight. You got anything else before we sign it off?
Nope.
All right, make sure you follow all the socials down below. As I said, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell so you never miss an episode. But we will see you guys next week. Go Big Red.